Okay, please don't leave. Just because you see that this says cooking in the K room with Cathy, huh, kind of has a catchy tune, but don't panic. We're not going to do anything that requires recipe or even the K room at this moment. But let's take a look at the correlation between cooking, people who are actually chefs and foodies, and one of my favorite subjects, probably my primary favorite subject is, well, God, the Bible, the word, life. I love that. Secondly, would be obviously my family, all of those things, and certainly water. That's definitely in the top five. And then right after that comes networking. And I mean that with all my heart. Mary Kay Company talks about God first, family second, career third. I totally get that. And for me, it's definitely a balancing act, certainly. But to have my top five fabulous, amazing subjects just rocks my world. I'm Cathy Weaver. Thank you for following me on my YouTube channel. You know I love that. I am part of the fan club for Delinda Lane and the fun, fearless female global community of Christian women. And this is Words of Wisdom Wednesday. We always talk about something that has happened out in the world during my networking time. I network literally all day long, and I love it. And all of a sudden, I come up with correlation or tips or thoughts or something that would take the mystique out of the networking piece. As I said, my favorite subject is God, the Bible. I love learning. And by the way, people ask me all the time, what book do you use the most for business tips and things like that? It's always the Bible. And I mean that. I have not found a question yet regarding anything, but certainly my business, that I cannot find the answer in scripture. So if that's a good fit for you, great. If it's not, hopefully you'll have a list of books that is a good fit that you can add to the comment section of this video. The family piece is dynamic. I've got amazing kids, outrageously fabulous grandchildren, and I love being able to be part of their lives all the time. Everybody's busy now because, of course, they're all older. So that changes things from when they were teensy and needed a babysitter. But it's just an interesting thing to see how life works. Water has been in my world certainly forever, but now with water as my business since 2008, that lights me up. And how did I learn how to do so great in my business? All of those things work together. My family supported me. Jesus drives my bus, literally, for my success journey, Miracles with Water. And then you take that piece, the networking part of the water, and you see how it comes full circle. So the full circle part for me, cooking in the K room with Cathy, I was like, what? All of a sudden, when this came to me, I was going, there are lots of people in my world who are foodies and chef level folk. And I always just kind of shake my head and go, well, I will be, anytime there's an event, I will bring the plates and the chips. And that's literally what happens. So let's think in terms of the correlation piece between cooking in the K room with Cathy and networking. You know that networking lights me up. My 2 books are free on my YouTube channel, Networking on Steroids and Networking on Steroids PQ, which stands for post quarantine, how to navigate these squares that we've got going all day long on Zoom. What's the correlation? Oh, I can't network, but do you know how to cook? Oh, heck yeah, I'm a great cook. Well, let's think about that. So, of course, I go to my favorite AI source. There's millions of them out there now, so just type in something and you'll find it, I promise. But as soon as I ask the question, what are some tips, some steps for a beginning, a person who wants to start out cooking? How do you do that? So, of course, I'm sure that these AI things just go, here she comes again. Look out, you guys. So it says, and I'm going to read this part because I thought it was great. It was Cathy Weaver-esque. If you're just starting out in the kitchen, that's what the K room is, by the way. Here are, as I understand, here are some essential steps to help you build your cooking skills. Cracks me up. Most of the actual folks in my network who are great chef level, let's just say, for example, Jeannie tosses stuff in and makes a gourmet meal. Doc picks stuff from her garden and herbs it up, and the next thing you know, she's a chef. Karen can create a family meal in seconds with the stuff that she's already got in her house. those ladies are just, my mind just goes, huh. Dana actually had a chef business, a catering business, and she's so great at it that she can feed hundreds. And I, once again, I bring the plates and chips. But I just thought it was cool that AI does this. And it all relates back to networking for me because we don't come out of the box already knowing what to do. At least I didn't. So you start with simple recipes. Yeah. Open a can of soup. By the way, that's not on there. It says begin with easy, straightforward recipes. You guys, I want to tell you something. When somebody said, and I, of course, when I go places, I always say, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. And they, would you like the recipe? Well, nicely, I say, oh my gosh, that'd be great. It's too many steps. Get this, put it together, put it in the fridge, fix this, need this. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work for me. I don't do steps. Well, you guess what? You do steps on networking. So it really is all in what you're into. I promise. And that's why cooking in the K room with Cathy came up today from a standpoint of step-by-step system for networking. When people say, I don't do networking, I don't go to this, I don't do whatever it is, I don't do Zoom, I don't do online, I don't do blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to bring this up because we all do steps for whatever our interests are. Gather basic kitchen tools. You see the correlation here? We did fishing a couple weeks ago. Same drill. You need a tackle box. You need a valise. You need a name badge. It's the same stuff. So you learn basic knife skills. Let's take this one a little step further. Okay. You learn basic knife skills. Well, my knives are literally 40, 50, 60 years old and I'm not playing just because I don't use them because I don't need them because I don't cook. So that was interesting, but you have to practice chopping, slicing, dicing vegetables and fruit. Knife skills are fundamental in cooking and will make your prep time faster and easier. Great. Once again, anyone that's come into my kitchen, my mother came over one time and she wanted to assemble her Waldorf salad for Thanksgiving. She wanted to assemble it here because obviously it's fresher and more fun with I can't remember what's in it now. Apples, marshmallows, walnuts, I don't know, but she was a gourmet also. And so she wanted to assemble the Waldorf salad here. So I said, what do you need? And she said, a cutting board. And I went, I bet I have one of those somewhere. So we found one, which was kind of fun. And then I need a knife. It's getting a little tricky in this house. And she goes, a knife that cuts. And I went, all right. And so anyway, that's kind of how it went. But the good news is once we figured out how to get the knife to cut and all these things, we did okay. Then the next one cracks me up, you guys, because it says understand cooking terms. Okay, familiarize yourself with common cooking terms like, okay, now don't you love this? Saute, simmer, boil, bake, and roast. All right, I can understand grill probably better because I do like to cook on the grill outside. I love veggies sauteed or in an actual pan with butter and ice cubes and onions, red, and sweet potatoes and broccoli and cauliflower and carrots. Because it's very colorful and it lights me up. I love that. And so I do actually grill veggies out on outside, and I love that part. But grill wasn't in here, interestingly enough. So familiarize yourself with cooking terms. Same drill for networking. There are some terms in networking that people have even said to me, honey, what is this edification stuff that you talk about? What is a swooper? All of the things that we talk about in my networking books. I started thinking, it's kind of the same deal with whatever the topic is. For me, network, it doesn't come easily. I had to learn how to network. 2008, I was like, well, 2007, I technically started networking very small as far as meetup and local groups and things like that. And then one thing led to another, and I loved it. It just, my gosh, if this is what networking is. And then, of course, in one of my books, to define networking, it just means talking. And so I felt that way about cooking. For me, I'm a great assembler, absolute great assembler. I can take fettuccine noodles and put Brussels sprouts on top and sauteed chicken strips and I'm talking chicken tenderloins, they call it. I saute those in olive oil and garlic, and I put that noodles, chicken, Brussels sprouts on top. I can assemble, but from a standpoint of cook, that's not going to happen. So I wanted to figure out the cooking terms, and I figured out the networking terms. Thus, the books were born. Master Baking Basic Cooking Techniques. This one actually did add grilling, which I thought was cute. Then use fresh ingredients. Okay. Once again, go out to your garden and pick your whatever you just grew, and there you go. And season your food. Now, here we go. We all have friends that taste us something and they go, needs a little more thyme or rosemary or basil or paprika. Okay, great. That's not going to work for me because how would I have the least idea? Same thing with networking. Tweak your skills, tweak where you go, tweak who you network with. Who are your collaboration partners? We've talked about board of directors on this call before. How many boards of directors do you have? And maybe several. If you've got several categories in your life and you want several boards of directors with several members within each board, that's highly possible. Same thing with this, season your food. Needs a little, And the same thing with your board of directors. You might need a little push or a little person who shoves you. We can all find those. Follow recipes closely. Okay, when I saw this one, Cooking in the K Room with Cathy, by the way, I instantly thought, follow recipes closely. How many of us have friends who you say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Could I have the recipe? I think I could actually do this. Well, honey, I just kind of throw this and sprinkle this and what do they call this? A pinch and a scooch and all those, a scotch and whatever they are. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you lost me. Make it, bring it over. I'll pay you. Forget it. So it's the same thing with networking. Can I just instantly go in and sell a water machine? Can I just instantly go in and get 10 new team members this afternoon? Can I just instantly go in and sell 1 million of my somethings? Well, if that works for you, that's fantastic. But basic cooking skills, follow recipes closely. Same drill with networking. Now, practice food safety, I thought was interesting to be in here. Learn about food safety practices. Hand washing, avoid cross-contamination, avoid cross-contamination and cooking foods to the correct temperatures. Same drill with people. Please think about that. If you're great in the kitchen and this is your thing, cooking in the K Room with Cathy, then instantly you're going to be great at networking. Think about it in those terms. Translate it, if you will. Think about networking safety practices. I was in a room the other day and it kind of took me back because I thought, how are we going to get this lady to figure out that that's kind of not how we do things here? When I got in the room, she had already passed business cards out to every table, every place setting. And it made me super sad because I thought, oh my gosh, you must be so new. And of course, my brain goes, I need to give her a hug. I didn't, but as I said, I looked at that and I just thought, that's just not how we roll here. It's a get to know people. It's a relationship building. And for doing relationship building since 2007, 8, business wise, I thought, oh my gosh. So practice food safety. Don't cross contaminate and cross all the things that we do. If someone else is in there that does the same industry as you, oh, mine's better than hers because I this. Oh my gosh. We all have to live on the planet and we all need to each other, definitely. Okay, so this one kind of killed me. Cook regularly. All right, like any skill, networking, cooking improves with practice. Try to cook as often as possible to build your confidence and skill set. Can you see now the correlation? Because every time I think of my foodies and my chefs and my gardeners and my fabulous people in my network, oh no, I don't do networking. Well, hang on a second, you do cooking. It's a way different thing. No, it ain't, my friends. Cooking in the K Room with Cathy. We're not doing a cooking show, FYI. Then ding, 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 ding. The next one says, learn from your mistakes. I got a list of mistakes. I could have written another book. I ain't going to do that, by the way. But learn from your mistakes. How many times, well, let's not well, in case you have ever cooked something and it didn't turn out well, or the smoke alarm went off and it wasn't playing, and you had to toss out or call the fire department or whatever happened because it was not a good look or good fit or certainly good taste. Same drill with networking. Have you ever had a disaster event? I definitely have. Absolutely, definitely have. And you can kind of tell when you walk in what is going on here. And being me, I stayed because I knew I could fix it. And I don't think it's fixable. And so uh, learn from your mistakes. And again, I've got quite a list. Don't be discouraged by mistakes. Every cook makes them. And they're an important part of learning. Analyze what went wrong and try it again. So if you choose to go back to that same recipe that just caught on fire, whatever happened, if you choose to try it again, now you're going to go, oh, yes, so I this. Olive oil is not the same as vegetable oil. Ding, ding, ding. Garlic is not the same as salt. Ding, ding, ding. Whatever it looks like, try it again. Now, expand your knowledge gradually. Whatever your thing is, like I can grill chicken on the grill. I can even grill hamburgers, although I prefer turkey, which has a little nuance of its own, by the way. So you do have to get a little creative. So if you have those sheets that let you grill on them so stuff doesn't fall through, that's a good fit for me. I learned that the hard way, of course. Turkey is not as friendly to grill strips or whatever that thing is called. I know, see, but it's an interesting piece that sometimes stuff falls through. So you get one of those pieces of cooking stuff. Yeah. But anyway, you expand your knowledge gradually. If all of a sudden somebody said you're going to be cooking for 300 people this afternoon, that ain't happening. I'm calling Dana. So whatever that looks like, gradually, you're going to speak at an event with 563 people at one of the huge hotels in Kansas City. Not a good fit for me. I would be happy to do it because that's kind of my thing, but I probably wouldn't have started doing that in 2007. So get those skills gradually built up. And now when somebody says you're speaking in a room of 6,000 at your convention, I'm in. So think about that. But I'm not going to cook for 500 this afternoon because that is not my strength. But think of the correlation part, work up to it and gradually get there. And then I love the closing with my favorite AI because now they talk like I do, which cracks me up. Cooking is a journey, and starting with the basics will set a strong foundation for more advanced techniques in the future. My friends, once again, this is Words of Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Cathy Weaver. I know this was a long one today, but it just cracked me up the correlation between cooking in the kitchen with Cathy, and I do mean K-Room. It's back to that same drill. What does that look like for you when it comes to networking? I would love to hear your experiences with either. Cooking in the K-Room with Cathy, I promise, is not going to be a book, certainly not a recipe book. And I also promise that we're not going to have a cooking show, at least nothing that I ever host in a K-Room, no matter what. I will give you Kieran, Doc, Dana, Jeannie. I have a list of friends who are great at the K-Room. That is not my strength. So thank you for being here on Words of Wisdom Wednesday. I will see you next week because you know the weeks are flying faster and faster. Share your experiences. Everybody would love to know. Bye for now, my friends. K-Room. Oh, Catherine.